Are we rolling? Well, hello everybody. Welcome again to yet another episode of My Music Journey. Thank you so much to all my brand new subscribers and to everybody who subscribed and turned on the notifications bell. Thank you so much for all of that as well, so that you never miss a single episode of My Music Journey. Before I delve into the story, I just want to first of all encourage every Uber driver out there. You guys get put through the most, but you still persevere just because you need to provide for your families and for yourselves. For that, I salute you. Like, a luta continua. The struggle is real. So guys, as the title already suggests, it was during the 2020 lockdown. A lot of things happened during the 2020 lockdown. I'm so glad that I'm one of the few people who are willing to share exactly what happened, because you'll never get to hear the whole truth from a lot of people. Because some things there's nothing wrong, as I've already said in the disclaimer that I gave at the beginning of this video. There's nothing wrong with being an Uber driver. But picture this. You are a public figure. Your music is literally played in almost every household on a daily basis. You are on Trace Gospel. You are on One Gospel. But you do not have money. Now, that is one truth that a lot of people in this industry will not bear to tell you, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because of this persona. I said it in one of the episodes as well. This persona that you guys have built around us, or maybe we have influenced that persona you have built around us. So we're in the middle of 2020. I think it was around about April. Hey guys, it's so difficult for me to talk about this because I'm not just talking about a story that I heard from somebody. I'm not talking about something that I saw happen to somebody else. I lived through this. It was like a movie, guys. And not your Avengers kind of movie. Not your Marvel kind of movies, guys. It was like one of those horrific movies that take forever to end. And by the way, I'm not a fan of horror movies. So if you want to scare me, take me out for a horror movie. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm very much scared of horror movies. I'm one of those guys who, when we get to that very, very scary part, I need to have a cushion next to me to cover my eyes. I don't know the significance of that, but I'm one of those people, because each time I watch a horror movie, I end up seeing those things. I switch off the light, I see this, like, zzz, guys, when you have exhausted all your lifelines, when you have called literally everybody on your phone book, when you have borrowed money from every living, surviving family member, that is the situation I found myself in 2020. 2020 is one of the years I will never forget in a really long time to come, because I learned a lot, not only about people, not only about the helpfulness or lack thereof of people, but my resilience as a human being, my resilience as a family man. Because as a family man, the buck stops with you. The buck stops with you. When there's no tomatoes in the house, the buck stops with you. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody from getting a family. Trust me, family is the most beautiful thing ever. Without my family, I would not have survived the pandemic. So I'm in the middle of the pandemic and I've exhausted all lines of credit, if I may put it in accountants' terms. Hi accountants, please reveal yourselves on the comments below. Let me tell you something. You get so offended when people do not answer your calls. You don't even stop to think that, perhaps they are at work, perhaps they are busy with something else. You forget that they've got lives to live. You try to call somebody and they don't pick up their phones on the third ring. You're like, damn people. You begin to be annoyed by everything, you know? Every little thing you're posting on Facebook, people are trash, family is overrated. We forget that they've got their own lives just because we're looking at our current circumstances, you know? Sometimes, you know, what I learned in 2020 was that it's not like people are really ignoring you, but people are just continuing with their lives. Why? Because at a time when you chose to invest in music, when you chose to invest in people, if I may call it that, they were investing in themselves. They were going to college, they were going to university, attaining degrees, and they still had jobs that sustained them even through the pandemic phase. So I know you guys are probably saying, Mkhululi, get to the point already. Okay, I'm getting to the point. I got to a point where I began to evaluate things in the house. I would look at my TV and think, okay, how much can I fetch for this? I would look at my shoes and think, there's nothing left there because the shoes had seen better days. You know, there was nothing to sell. So I'm looking at my car, a car I had just bought at the end of 2019. I almost sold the car. Again, remember I sold it in 2017 when I was going through the most. It was the only thing that would fetch enough money to take care of my problems at the time. But I just could not sell that car because I remember my mom's words. Oh Lord. There was a time I used to have so many conversations with her. We were just talking about some random things, and then I was like, maybe I should just be content with not affording a car again. Maybe that was my only shot. Maybe that was my only chance of getting another car. Maybe that was my last chance. Because that's exactly what the devil wants us to do, you know? When you go through a certain phase, when you go through a particular phase, he'll make you feel as if your situation is isolated, as if you're the first and last person to go through that situation. You know, I even forgot that I had bought about 3 or 4 cars before. So the hurdle of buying a car, the hurdle of owning a car had already been passed. That giant had already been defeated, you know? But there I am thinking, okay, I'm not gonna get the car anymore. And I remember my mom saying, you are gonna get the car. And the car you are gonna get is gonna be an upgrade from what you sold. And behold, she was right. And here comes this pandemic phase. I've exhausted everything. Everybody had helped me. So don't get it the wrong way. I'm not saying people are not helpful. People had helped me to the best of their abilities. I had received money from all over. My own family, my close family, my extended family, they had all assisted me in every way that they could. I had to take a stand. I had to do something. As a man, that's what you do. You take a stand, you evaluate. You ask yourself, what is it that I have in my hand? And the thing that I had in my hand was a car. And then I thought, okay, how can I use this car to survive? If it was a pickup truck, then I would be one of those guys, you know, like carrying people's beds and scrap metal and whatever. Anything to survive. Because at that point, nothing is embarrassing anymore. You know, at that point, you cease to be a celebrity. You become a human being. You become a human being. Now, this is advice even for my brothers and sisters in the industry. There comes a point when you need to stop living for people. Because you can't be chased out of your accommodation while you have a pickup truck and you know you can put it to good use. So that is the very logic that made me decide, okay, with this car, I can register it on Uber. I remember this one day, guys, and I'm so sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional over this. I remember this one day, I was supposed to meet a friend of mine somewhere in Johannesburg. I've just used my last money for fuel. And the poor guy didn't do anything to me. He's always been helpful. But, you know, I felt like a failure. It overwhelms you. Now I understand the meaning of clinical depression. I understand the number of people who are out there depressed. So guys, the most irritating thing happened to me, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of people who are in the YouTube space. You just connect your camera, you connect your stand, everything, your lights, everything. You start recording and you continue talking to yourself for an hour while the phone is not recording anything. The battery died in the middle of the conversation. But anyway. So guys, as I was saying, I've met up with the poor guy. The guy treated me to a very good lunch, you know. He was happy. He seemed unbothered about the pandemic, you know. Everything was going well for him. And then I'm thinking to myself, that is where the issue of envy and jealousy comes in. There's a very thin and yet distinct line between envy and jealousy. So I'm looking at the guy, his life is well put together. I can't even afford to take myself back home. You know, I parked on the side of the road. Not because I was jealous of him, but I was like, oh Lord, why is this happening to me? Lord, I have served you for so long. Why would this happen to me? People call me your servant. People send me messages from all over the world saying I was on the verge of committing suicide. And then your song came on and I was overwhelmed with this joy inside of me. I didn't even understand the language, but I was overwhelmed with great joy that I decided my life was worth living. So now I'm finding myself in a position where I'm about to lose everything that I've worked for. Everything you have blessed me with. Is this okay with you, Lord? And I started crying. I cried a river on the side of the road. Cars are passing by. And I'm crying. I'm crying. Even my wife didn't know what to do with me. That period was really taxing on me. It was taxing on my spirit. It was taxing on my soul, on my body, my physical being. I couldn't even pray anymore. You know, when you dedicate your time and you say, I'm going to pray, I'm praying now. You close your eyes, but no words come out. Have you ever been in that situation, fam? Have you ever been in that situation where you know you need to pray? You know prayer is the only thing that will change your situation, but you're all prayed up. You are done praying. You've been praying. You know, you've been reciting the Lord's Prayer. You've been praying in tongues. You've changed even the toning of your tongues. You know, you adapt tongues of people who seem to be successful, but it doesn't work. God will only do, I'm not preaching by the way, God will only do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. It's difficult to see it when it's happening, but there are great lessons that are learned every time the Lord allows you to go through the fire. By the way, seeing as the pandemic was already upon us, I couldn't even service the car. And you know what happens when you don't service a car? It started smoking, you know, a lot of things started going wrong with the car. I remember even the tires were like a snake. Ooh, in yoga, a snake. I'm sure some of you don't know what an old tire looks like. An old tire does not have treads. There's no line visible there. It's just like a snake skin. That's exactly what my tires looked like. That's fail number one, because for your car to be registered on those Uber platforms, it needs to have good tires. Secondly, the car was smoking profusely from lack of service. So there I go. Oh Lord, there I go. I asked for money from my brother. He sent me the money. I'm like, okay, no, if I'll just fix the car. If I fix the car and get on that platform, everything will be back together again. I just need to fix the car. If I get the car fixed, get maybe 2-3 second-hand tires. You can't think of brand new tires at that time, people of God. There's no thinking of anything brand new. Even for fixing the car, you are not thinking of taking the car to an Audi dealership. You're thinking of some guy under a bridge or a tree somewhere, you know? By the way, my respect to most of those guys. Though some of them have disassembled parts of my car that I couldn't find anymore. They just left them like that. They fixed the problem, you know? It's the reassembling that's the problem. So yours truly takes the money that the brother has sent him. I take the money, I take my car to be fixed, hoping it will be fixed. And the guy just made the car worse. But eventually, because God is good, you know, and as I said, there's a lot of people who offered me a lifeline during that very difficult time. I ended up finding money again, took the car to somebody else. He tried to fix the problem. He only fixed, you know, when they fix it enough for you to pass the test. The car got approved. And then just after the car got approved, I remember I celebrated. I celebrated so much that I was going to be able to earn an income. I didn't even care about people seeing my face, you know, because there's a lot that people can say. People can see your face and okay. People can see you driving an Uber and think that you're down and out, you know. Well, I was down and out, by the way, but they can go as far as writing about you, you know. You can come out in newspaper articles. So I was registered on the platform, everything ready, my clothes ready, I was ready, the car cleaned, nice squeaky clean. By the way, I was doing all the car cleaning that time, no taking the car to any cleaning services. I was that guy. I was that guy cleaning the car. Everything was nice, squeaky clean. And I was ready for my first day. And guess what happened? I guess you'll have to tune in for the next episode of My Music Journey. I've already taken so much time. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I'm going to drop a brand new video every Monday and Wednesday from this point onwards until I get tired. So see you next time on My Music Journey. Bye. Bless you.